Hello and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that Michael Landon once called heavenly. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at my top 100 games of all time. Today we're going to be taking a look at number 40 through 31, and joining me is Mr. Zach Zumbrunnan.
Well, hello everybody.
So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. We've got our top, we're going to go to 40 to 31 here. So Zach, why don't you go ahead and get us started with your number 40?
I will. And real quick to kind of start this out, you played a lot more games than I have.
I have.
And so I don't feel like I can do 100, so I got 40. And, I got some, maybe games that the more serious gamer might think is stupid to put on a top 40, but these are games I like. I have various experiences with them. This top 10 that I have is more old games that I probably never will play again, and then some more recent games that I would like to play some more.
All right, let's have it. Let's have it. Well, hold on. Do you have any honorable mentions, or are you just going to go straight to your 40?
I just go straight to my 40.
All right, go ahead, number 40.
So for my first two, I'm putting in some old chestnuts that actually got me started in my enjoyment for games.
Okay.
And for number 40, I'm just putting out an old classic, which is Axes and Allies.
Great game.
All versions, including the zombie one you gave me, which is actually the best way to play Axes and
Allies and Zombies is a lot of fun. I actually liked that. I think that was on my list. That was higher up on my list. I can't remember where I put that on my list, but that's in my top 100 as well. Yeah. I really enjoyed Axis and Allies and Zombies.
Yeah.
What is it about Axis and Allies, just in a nutshell, you enjoy just generally?
Well, I remember way back in high school, because we go back to high school, we tried playing the original with me. It was big, it was grand, I didn't quite get it. But as we started playing some of the more smaller versions, the more, with the Europe or the Pacific, and especially the zombies, it, I think, was kind of, probably for a lot of people who designed a lot of the games we're talking about right now, was a lot of people's first exposure to what board gaming could do, how immersive you can be into the experience and the environment, and those Pacific battles were always some of my favorite things.
You like that we did the big American Japanese fleet battles we would do. Those
even if the game was over, we'd always have to roll the Pacific.
We'd always say, well, let's take whatever you could realistically get there, and we'll have a big battle. And it was always fun to roll that off. All right, so that's your number 40, Axis and Allies. That's from Avalon Hill, Wizards of the Coast, to Hasbro, although that company's, I don't know what's going on there, but something's going on. All right, my number 40 is a game I just played this year, or this last year rather, fairly recently. This is Apocalypse Road from GMT Games. Apocalypse Road is a racing game where you are playing cards to move your cars. You got a team of cars.
Oh, yeah?
You're playing cards to move all of your cars, but you also have weapons, and you're trying to shoot the other guys and take them out. It's kind of a riff on Thunder Alley, which was a great game, and this one kind of takes that system and enhances it quite a bit. And what is great about this game is, as you are every turn, every player's turn, you're always paying attention, because things are always happening when it's not your turn. And so, like, your car may be here 1 minute, and then it's somewhere else the next minute because somebody pushed your car or moved your car, and so you're always paying attention. Anyway, I really like Apocalypse Road. Yeah. That is from GMT. That is my number 40. I'm going to go ahead and do my number 39, and we'll jump to yours. My number 39 is another game from GMT Games. This is a game I've played, I want to say 8-9 years ago originally. I did a review in the Desert News, but I've not done a review on TDG, and that is 1989 Dawn of Freedom. Now, in the past, I've kind of globbed some games together, but in this case, I wanted to give this one a shout out, because I never do on its own, but this is a fantastic game. It's a lot like Twilight Struggle. It's from the same designer, but it's Eastern Europe. It is, the events take place over the course of the year 1989, where one player plays the communist, one player plays the Democrat, and you try to, if you're the Democrat, you're trying to make these inroads to have all these Eastern European countries become democratic, and if you're the communist player, of course, you're trying to hold on to power for as long as you can. But it's very good, and one aspect, it's superior, I think, to Twilight Struggle, and that is the scoring mechanism, because in the scoring mechanism, you've got battles, and your battles are, you got a different set of cards that are, you play if one person plays, say, the Pull-Up Bureau, then you have to play a Pull-Up Bureau card to match, or not Pull-Up Bureau, Party Bosses, and then you have to play a Party Bosses card, and then they play the Proletariat, then you got to play a Proletariat card, then they play the Student card, then you got to play a Student card, and it's kind of that match card game, but it's a lot of fun, and I really like that kind of scoring system in this game. So that is my number 39. You haven't played that one yet.
I haven't played that one. That sounds a lot of fun, though.
It is. We'll have to hit it sometime. That is my number 39. That is 1989, Dawn of Freedom from GMT Games. All right, go ahead. What is your 39?
Okay, my 39 is another old classic. It's the game of Diplomacy.
Ooh.
That is my number 39. And when you have a game that actually almost caused your brother to accidentally kill you on a ride home, then you have to put it somewhere in your top.
Because he physically assaulted you as you were driving.
As I was driving, we were fighting over the game. It's the biggest argument I've ever gotten in my life with someone, my brother. And we fought about the game, and we fought. And on the drive home, we're driving, it's like 3 in the morning because it's a long game, and he took the steering wheel and started driving, and we almost went over the embankment right into a telephone pole, but we didn't. So when a game almost causes you to die, then...
And I should point out, the reason why they were fighting is because they had made a plan to screw me over. Because I was winning, I'd been winning all the games
all the time. You wouldn't lose.
And what happened was I anticipated the exact turn you guys were going to turn against me, your coalition, and I held you off for like 3 or 4 turns. I was outguessing him, but there gets to that point where you just can't hold him back anymore, 3 against 1. And so I actually ended up striking a deal with Zach. I gave the game to Zach so I could be on the peace treaty at the end.
Exactly. And where in the rule book does it even say there's a peace treaty?
There's
no peace treaty. But we came up with this thing where we do a peace treaty, and the fact that I put Cody's name on the peace treaty, even though Sean attacked me at the same time I attacked him, that I put you on the peace treaty, he was so mad.
Yeah.
And so that was actually the beginning of the love of games. But yeah,
that was a great night.
So that's an old game too. That's like what, from the 50s.
That's 1958.
Oh yeah.
Is when that it was John F. Kennedy's favorite board game. Henry Kissinger's.
Probably never play that again, but we played it a lot though.
All right, so that is number
that was 39.
39.
So I should do 38.
That is Avalon Hill from Avalon, Diplomacy from Avalon Hill.
Yeah.
Okay, do your 38.
Okay, 38. I started getting some new games I played recently that I enjoyed. And for 38 is I think this one's Ravensburger. Jaws.
Yeah, Jaws. Yeah.
Jaws. They're doing a great job with these. Them and Prosper Hall, and they're all doing this great thing with these IP games. And so I played Jaws. Jaws, I have 38 because I love how it's a game in 2 acts.
Yeah.
I just think that's just a unique thing for me. Maybe there's a lot of games that do that type of thing.
It's 2 different acts, and the first act kind of alters the second act. It determines a lot of the conditions of the second act.
Right. The people are trying to keep Jaws from really having a lot of stuff that can hurt them in the second part of the game. And so I thought it was kind of fun.
It is. It's a great game. It's got the hidden movement game kind of in the first part. You got a kind of a bluffing aspect in the second part, and it is. It's a lot of fun. It's another home run for Ravensburger and Prospero Hall. Great game. So that was your number 38.
Yes.
And that is from Ravensburger. Okay, so my number 38 is a game I know you enjoy quite a bit, and I fully expect to see this come up again later in your list. This is Chancellorsville 1863 from Worthington Games.
Yes.
Chancellorsville 1863 is a phenomenal war game, kind of light to medium level war game based on the Civil War battle. It's cool because it's got the hidden map thing where at the beginning you're moving some of your armies secretly, but then they come out on the board later. But what I like about this game is it is so simple. It's such a simple system, but yet it's very strategic, and you've got a lot of things you got to manage and take care of. And of course, it's super fun. And that we played a couple of games. And in the first game, you creamed me. In the second game, it was close. It was dang close, but I ended up winning that one.
Well, that was from that second game. We really got down to the, what do you call it when you get to the... You have to do the rolls when you get to
after your core levels, they get down to the certain I can't remember what's called, the attrition level or something like that.
Yeah, but when you get to that point, you're sweating it. I mean, it's a lot of suspense.
It is. It's a great game, and Maurice Suckling, who designed it, he did Freeman's Farm 1777, which we still got to play. Great game. So that number 38, that is Chancellorsville 1863 from Worthington Games. We really liked it. My number 37 is another game that I am sure we'll probably see on Zach's list here at some point, and we've already seen the company mentioned before. This is Horrify from Ravensburger. Played this again just a couple nights ago. This is a great game. First of all, one thing I love about this game is I think it is one of the best entry-level games into modern board gaming because it's easy, it's got a really fun theme, and it's cooperative.
Yeah.
And so you take all these things together, and it's an easy game to bring people into. In fact, the last few times I played it, I played with people who haven't played a lot of games like this, and they really enjoyed it. But I also think that it is got enough strategy and choices and fun that even an experienced gamer is going to really get a kick out of it. What are your thoughts?
No, I agree. I like it's cooperative, and I love a good cooperative game. But I like how it's just a game around a lot of mini games.
Yeah.
Because the monsters each have their own little mini game kind of thing, like the Mummy where you got to do the puzzle, or then I love the Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein, keep them apart. Yeah. So no, I mean you're right about it being a really good introductory game, and I enjoy it quite a bit. Every time I talk about this game, I talk about my house rule. I think a good cooperative game, you have to lose more than you win.
No, I agree, absolutely.
So I always like to play one monster more than the player count.
Just to make it
tough. To make it hard. I like to make them hard. I want to lose. I want to play the game 10 times and lose 7 or 8.
No, I think that's spot on. Yeah, a cooperative game you keep winning is not going to be very fun to play. You're not going to want. You go, all right, done that, been there, done that. You know. Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Okay, so that was that's Horrified. That is my number 37, and now we're on your 37.
Yeah, my 37.
Okay.
I made a rule with this list that I wouldn't put down any games that I only played once, unless I really liked it the one time I played it. My number 37 is War of Whispers.
I actually thought this would be higher on
you know what? It could have been.
But you only played it the one time.
I only played it the one time, so I put it down a little bit lower for that reason.
Yeah.
But that just had one of the most unique themes. Just the whole idea of the hidden secret societies trying to influence these countries and battle. And it was just, I mean, the mechanic of it was good and it was a lot of fun, but just that theme was neat.
I got to tell you, so I really like this game as it is, and what I like about it is too, it's not a long game. It plays in under an hour.
It's
fast. Super for as strategic as this game is, and the dudes on the map element. You're thinking this is going to be at least a 2-hour game, and it's a 45-minute game. You know, I would actually like to see a game that uses the same idea, the same mechanics, that was a longer game.
Yeah.
That maybe did go on a little longer. If there's a way you could make that work.
Oh, man, that could be fun. Like a 2-3 hour version
2-3 hour version game where there's maybe a bit more nuance to the combat and stuff like that and other things going on. I think that'd be freaking cool. But I love the game as it is.
No, I can't wait to play it again. That's one I really want to play again. Maybe get sometime
We're saying we got to get Sean to play it.
Oh, my brother would love that game.
Yeah, it's a fantastic game. War of Whispers. And that's from Starling Games. That was your 37? Mm-hmm. What's your 36?
Okay, 36 I actually played more than once, but it's been a lot of fun. 36 is Sheriff of Nottingham.
Sheriff of Nottingham. Great game.
No, really fun game. Again, a good introductory kind of game, too.
It really one of your better bluffing games.
Yeah, fun bluffing game.
It's kind of one of those games that kind of straddles the idea between board games and party games, you know?
No, I agree.
Yeah, I really like this one. It's not in my top 100 though. It didn't make my top 100, but I do like it quite a bit. I have fun every time I play it.
Oh yeah.
So anything else you want to say about that?
No.
Okay, all right. So Sheriff of Nottingham. I think currently that's from Simon. And that was your 36?
That was my 36.
Because my 36, this is a game that you and I used to play a ton. I haven't played it in years. I'm sure you haven't played it in years.
Yeah.
But we played the heck out of this game back in the day. Had so much fun with it. This is Tide of Iron from Fantasy Flight Games. Tide of Iron is a great tactical World War II war game, light war game. But you got the minis, and you actually build squads by putting certain kinds of plastic minis on the little squad bases. And but it's good because it's got the good heavy cardboard stock for the tiles that you're playing on. But it's just a good tactical game. You got to move your squads. You want to get them to cover the enemy. You can always have opportunity fire. So if somebody crosses your line of sight, you can try to take a shot at them. It's very well done, I thought.
Oh yeah. We haven't played that forever, but we only played it for like a year and a half straight.
Because all we were playing was Axis and Allies for a long time. And then Jason and I started playing Tide of Iron, and we were having you and Sean over one time, and we were going to play Axis and Allies, and Jason said, why don't we have him play Tide of Iron? And I was saying, I don't know if Zach will like Tide of Iron. And we played it, and he fell in love with it. It was just a great game. It was so much fun.
And then after that, we started realizing there's more. That's kind of when this whole, what do you call it, board game
Revolution begins,
kind of was around
about 2009, 2010, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, because I know, it was, in fact, when I was playing Tide of Iron, I think I had already got the Battles of Westeros from Fantasy Flight, which was the first game I got from Fantasy Flight. Then we got Tide of Iron. I think it was in the catalog of Tide of Iron. I saw Battlestar Galactica, and then it wasn't. Then Jason bought that for me a little while later, and that's all she wrote.
Absolutely.
But all right, so that is my number 36. That's Tide of Iron from Fantasy Flight Games. Later, it was reprinted by 1A Games. It's no longer in print. There's still an active Facebook page out there for it, so I would be surprised if somebody picks it up at some time. Great game. 36. Okay, my number 35 is another World War II game. This is a game I've only played once or twice, and it's been a long time. I really want to play it again. And after Diplomacy, this is probably the second oldest game you will see on this list, because this one dates back to the heady days of 1971.
Oh, wow.
This is Origins of World War II from Avalon Hill. Yeah, you would really like it. It's it's kind of dated. You can kind of, certainly it looks like a game from 1971, but it's a map of Europe, and it's the years leading up to World War II. And what you're doing is you are essentially placing like influence in the different countries, and each country is trying to influence how World War II will evolve in some way. Okay. And of course, Germany wants to dominate as many countries as it can, whereas the British are trying to avert World War II, but it's very cool because you've got the Soviets are there, and the Americans and the French. But it's a good diplomatic game, and it's kind of a numbers game. It's a little deterministic at times, but it's still a lot of fun. And it was Kevin actually introduced me to this game, so he was the one that told me about it. So anyway, I really liked it. But that is my number 35. That's Origins of World War II from Avalon Hill. What is your number 35?
My number 35 is Back in Time.
Back to the Future. Back
to the Future.
Now the Ravensburg. No. That's Funko. That's Funko.
That one was Funko.
But it's Prospero Hall.
Yeah, that's one's fun.
Prospero Hall's the designers.
Because we had the two Back to the Future games came out, which I bought them both. And Back in Time, I played again with my son a couple of weeks ago before he was going away for a while.
He's on a mission.
He's on a mission. I can say that. He's on a mission. And we played that 3 times in a row and lost. I played that game 10 times, and I think I've won it once barely. Oh. It is maybe even too hard of a cooperative game. But I know it's dumb. You think, because a lot of times when you think of games based on movie, you think of like Simpsons Clue, or you think of Jurassic Park,
a
Monopoly,
game with the theme slapped on.
Yeah, exactly. But this is it's more than that.
It really integrates.
It really integrates the theme, because you got to get the parts, and then you got to get the thing, and then you got to make them fall in love, and the picture's disappearing, and it's I really like that game.
It's a very fun game. This is actually my 90s.
Was it?
I really liked it, but it's a little higher up on my list. But I agree. I think the first time I played it, I won. I'm like, this isn't that hard. And then the more I played it, it's like, I don't think I've won it since.
No,
it's a tough game. It's a tough game.
There's so much garbage you got to get through. All
right, so that is your 35. That is Back to the Future, Back in Time from Funko. What's next? 34.
Okay. Well, 34 is this is a card game, Skull King. This is Grandpa Beck Games is what these are from. It's kind of if anyone ever played 7 Up, 7 Downs, no card game you play with a basic deck of cards. It's basically that, but in a pirate theme. And it's one of those games where you just you spend the whole game getting mad at everyone at the table and every member of your family because they're not playing the cards right to make sure that you win the game. That's what I like about it.
That's cool.
Because they're not doing it right.
I've never played this game.
No, it's a lot of fun. There's ways to win. There's a lot of ways to lose. It's a
trick-taking game.
Trick-taking game.
Okay.
Which I don't know. You haven't played much of. You're not a huge fan of.
No.
But I like a good trick-taking game, and that's but it's a kind of an old card game that's been around forever, kind of polished with a pirate theme. It's a lot of fun.
That's cool. No, I've actually heard a lot of good things about this game, but I have never actually played it myself. Okay, so that was
my 34,
and that's what's the name of it again?
Skull King, Grandpa Beck Games.
Grandpa Beck Games, very good. So my number 34 is a game we played. We played this just before I left for Texas several years ago. Mm-hmm. I played it a few times since. I think you just played it the one time. This is Trains from AEG. This is the deck building game where you actually are building train lines. It's a Japanese game. You're building the train lines, and as you build stuff, of course, you're buying different cards that will help you build in different ways. And then, of course, every time you build something, you get a waste card, which just takes up space in your hand. Mm-hmm. But it's really a lot of fun. I thought it was a really clever deck builder, and I'm a huge fan of deck building games that are also board games. They're not just the deck builder. It's like how you build the deck influences what you do on the board. I really like that, and that's not the last time we'll see this mechanic on my list. But great game. I really, really love trains.
I'm pretty sure I played that once or twice.
Well, I know you played it once.
I played it once for sure.
We played it just before I left for Texas when you, me, Sean, and Peacock got together and we had that
was
game
a good
day.
game.
Yeah.
Remember that game?
All right, so that is my number 34, Trains from AEG. My number 33 is a game from Gale Force 9 that is played it a few times back in the day, and then I just recently played it because I reviewed it with a bunch of expansions. And this is Star Trek Ascendancy. Star Trek Ascendancy is not just a great Star Trek themed game; it's a great game because it's a good civilization building game. You're building out you're using space lanes to essentially build from system to system. You're discovering new systems. You're discovering new life and new civilizations. You're going out, and it's one of those games that really feels pretty Star Trek heavy. At times it's not the most thematic. Sometimes there's little fudges about the theme, but it's still a tremendously fun game. I think it's very well done, and there's a lot of great expansions. This is, again, another one I want you to play at some point because I think you would eat it up. And again, it's not too long. It's a pretty good game. That's my number 3. That is Star Trek Ascendancy. Now, did you do your number 3? Your 33? Or
I haven't done 33 yet. So, let's see.
Did you do... Okay.
You did... I did 33. I haven't done 33. I've done 34.
So you do your 33.
So you did 34 and 33. Yeah, okay. I'm on my 33.
Yeah.
Another card game, another Grandpa Beck's games. This one's called Cover Your Kingdoms, which is actually a sequel to Cover Your Assets. But I like it better than Cover Your Assets. And the basic point...
Or the war game, Cover Your Privates. All right.
Cody. No, it's a basic card game you have of... You're basically trying to collect pairs and create these kingdoms that you are trying to give value to and make, and it's a point salad game at points at the end. At times, people can challenge your kingdom. They say, well, I want this one. Well, you can challenge them something else. They can throw down a wild. You can throw down a bigger wild, and eventually these kingdoms get really points heavy, and so you're kind of coveting the other kingdoms. You're trying to get what other people's big stack of points are, but then you can cover them, but then there's other cards where you can release that. It's a fun, quick little 20, 30-minute game you can teach younger kids. My 10-year-old plays it and does a really good job with it. But again, just the right amount of screwing your family. So it's a lot of fun.
Do you own that game?
Yes.
Okay, very good, very good. And that's your 33?
That was my 33.
Cover Your Kingdoms from Grandpa Beck?
Yes.
Very good. Okay. And then you got your 32?
I do have my 32. I have to think real quick because I did a change on the fly.
Okay.
Okay, 32 is a game, and I can't remember the name of the game designer or the thing off the top of my head. It's a game that I recently played called Gates of Delirium.
Oh, yeah. Is that Renegade or Cryptozoic?
I think it's Cryptozoic.
It's one of
or
them.
Renegade. You're right. One of those.
One of them.
One of those. Gates of Delirium. I played that with you just a little bit ago.
Yeah, I remember that game.
It's got this really fun a thing to it where you can play the game two different ways. It changes throughout the game. You're playing it as though everyone around the board is sane, or if they're insane. And everyone takes turn being the one in charge, and you can say this is a sane round or this is an insane round. And on a sane round, you're doing these things that can give you points and help you along the way. Insane, you need to play that a lot because then you can open up these gates and the monsters come and you fight the monsters, and then you get more points for how many monsters or havoc you release. But it's a fun little fun game.
I enjoyed it. Zach doesn't. I usually am the guy that introduces games to Zach, and he introduced me to that one, and it was. I got a kick out of it. It's pretty. I like that idea where when one person makes the decision how it's going to be played, and that completely alters your strategy.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So that was a very good game. That's Gates of Delirium.
Yeah.
We think Renegade, maybe Cryptozoic.
So. Sorry.
And that is your 30.
That was my 32.
That's your 32.
That was my 32.
So is it me?
Yeah.
Okay, my 32, one you know and love. We used to play this a lot before I left for Texas. This is Star Wars Armada. Star Wars Armada. Actually, X-Wing is no longer in my top 100. It's like 120 something, I think.
Oh, okay.
But Armada I still like a lot because it's a much more strategic game. There are many more choices in Armada, and it's just a little more involved than X-Wing was, and so I always liked Armada more. But of course, what can you say? Beautiful models. Models are just absolutely beautiful in this game. And there's some real good, like I said, good strategic choices. For instance, if, in like X-Wing, somebody attacks you, you got to roll a die to see whether or not your shield's deflected. But here, you get hit, well, I can maybe move some of my shields from one side of my ship to the other.
I played that for a while, but I remember that.
Or maybe I can, somehow mitigate the damage in another way. But it's very interesting stuff, and it's just a good, solid naval combat game with the Star Wars IP, and it does it very, very well. I haven't played this. In fact, I don't think I've played this since I left for Texas, because I got all my stuff in a thing, and I don't think I've taken it out since.
I only played it a couple times. I almost forgot about that game, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
it's a great game.
It was
I
a good
freaking
game.
love Armada.
Yeah.
All right, so that's my 32. So it's my 31. Zombicide Black Plague from come on, Simon. They this is, I think, the best version of Zombicide. I played all the versions of Zombicide so far. I know they just did the Kickstarter for the Wild West version of Zombicide, but actually I haven't played the Night of the Living Dead version. That's one I wouldn't mind playing. But Zombicide Black Plague is really cool because it's kind of fantasy element to it. And it's got like the necromancer is like this character that this like zombie that moves through it, but you can actually try to kill him. You have to kill him before he gets to the other side of the board. Like it's really cool. And then of course Green Horde kind of added on that, and I like Green Horde too. But Black Plague, I don't know what it is. I just think, to me, out of all the Zombicides I play, I have the most fun with Black Plague. Now you haven't played Black Plague.
I haven't played Black Plague.
You played the original version.
Yeah, and was there a prison one?
Yeah, that was season 2. Was the prison?
Yeah, okay, I think I played season 2.
I remember we played
Yeah.
the prison one at Sean's one time.
Yeah, okay, those are the only 2 I played.
Yeah, well, again, you got to play Black Plague. Invader's fun too. That's a sci-fi version.
Yeah.
But Black Plague's, I think, far and away the best one. So that is my number 31. Now you're 31.
Yes, my 31 is Firefly, the board game. That's what it's
Firefly,
called,
the
right?
board game. Yes. From Gale Force 9.
Yeah, we played that a few times, and I hate the game. That there is no game that gets me more frustrated than Firefly the board game. It's also one of those games. This is a game that taught me how to play games. In that, it's one of those games where if you're not careful, you're doing 100 different things that have nothing to do with you actually winning the game. If you're not too careful.
Yeah.
That's
There's
like,
all the side missions.
there's all these side missions, and I remember the first time I played it, I was spending all this time doing all this stuff and not doing a single thing to help me win the game.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful. But it was so
But
frustrating.
you're still having fun.
Oh, I had a lot of fun. And every time we played it, I was so mad.
It's
just so mad.
It's a sandbox game. You can
Yeah.
do what you want. You can, and honestly, I think
A good one.
a game like this is a game necessarily. You don't play to win so much as you play for the experience. You
No, I
play
would agree.
just to see where the game takes
I
you.
would agree. Because all of that side stuff is a lot of fun, too.
It is a lot of
So
fun.
that was a lot of fun.
And that's your 31, right?
That was my 31.
And that's from Gale Force 9. That is Firefly the game.
Yeah.
All right, so that is our 40 to 31.
Yeah.
So go ahead and leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Do you like our picks? Do you not like our picks? What would be on your top 100 list at this point? Let us know. We're more than happy to read that, see that. Please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, all that good stuff. Also, if you like World War II and the military history, you can check out my other channel, Cody Carlson, PhD. I'll put a link to that here, so check that one out as well. And also, you can see my top 100 to 150 on our website, discriminatinggamer.com. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you once again for joining us. And also, I'd just like to tell you, speaking of Michael Landon, it's a well-known fact that during spring break, he used to like to take a camera down to Fort Lauderdale, and he liked to film a lot of girls gone Laura Ingalls Wilder.
Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I've been dying. Once a year I wind up in the band. God knows that I love to fight, but I don't ever win. It's a fine line to damnation, but God let me in.
Oh boy. I hope Cody's number 1 is Gold of My Year's beauty pageant.